Radhe Radhe. Today, Sunday, November 28th, 2021, Mummy and I are here to present our quick recap video for our Bhagavad Gita study session.
Radhe Radhe.
I'll go ahead and share my screen and look at what we covered. So in terms of chapter 4, we had the usual quiz questions. And then we covered chapter 4, verses 12, 13, and 14. Maybe today, let's look quickly at the catchphrases or slogans for them. Chapter 4, verse 12 was kind of asking, but in a way, in a trick way, get rich quickly. Is that all we want to do? Is that all we seek? And we see that in Sri Krishna's own words, yes, there are people who are desiring success through material activities and boons, and they worship the celestial gods. And Sri Krishna even says that material rewards manifest quickly, obviously quicker than we might get spiritual enlightenment. But we, of course, learn there's much more beyond that. With regards to the celestial gods, Mummy, do you want to briefly describe them?
Yes, Gagan. Krishna himself is telling that he is the Supreme Lord and we human beings should directly pray to him. What happens mostly, we ignorant souls are anchored in this worldly affairs, material world, and we are used to asking God for different boons. So for that, we pray to celestial gods. Now, these celestial gods is like the parliament of a country, whereby they are the chosen ones who can help in providing services through the government. So what happens in our Vedas, lots of rituals are given, because in worldly environment, we are always looking for different things. Sometimes we want pleasure, sometimes we want success, sometimes we want wealth, sometimes we want children. So in this householder life, we are always looking for these things. So we perform these rituals and pray to celestial gods. But Krishna is telling that all these celestial gods, they get their power from Krishna only. So instead of going to the intermediary, we should be directly praying to Sri Krishna for enlightenment. So Gagan, can you talk about some celestial gods?
Sure. 4 that commonly come to mind are Indra, the king of the celestial heavens. And then there is Agni, the god of fire. There is Vayu, the god of wind, and Varun, the god of water. So Indra, Agni, Vayu, and Varun are 4 celestial gods that I think everyone should be familiar with. As you rightly said, Sri Krishna tells us that there may be quicker manifestation of material rewards, but we saw in the commentary, you pointed out, Mummy, that we should really not be going to the intermediary, the celestial gods, but in fact, take our aspirations, our spiritual aspirations towards the Supreme Sri Krishna. Chapter 4, verse 13, we then saw some terminology with regards to the number 4. So we talked about the 4 categories of occupations. Again, really what we wanted to stress here is that I'm occupied in the sense that it's good to work. We saw this in chapter 3. We'll actually see this much more again in chapter 4, and you'll constantly see that it is important to work. But how to work is something, of course, we'll talk a little bit more about. So we have the 4 categories of occupations based on one's qualities and the activities that we perform. So qualities here refers to gunas, the 3 modes of material nature. So we have sattva gun, the mode of goodness. We have rajogun, the mode of passion. And we have tamogun, the mode of ignorance. Based on the proportions of these gunas in each of us and the work and tasks that we perform, those aspects determine what occupational category we fall in. So we talked, of course, about Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. Mummy, I think you also mentioned ashram by itself, not varnashram, but just ashram.
So there are 4 stages of life. One is we start with brahmacharya, that is studentship, then grihast, that is householder, then vanprastha, that is forest walker, and then sannyasa, that is monk or renunciate. So this is how in different stages of life, our activities also keep on changing. Our thoughts also keep on changing. First, we are very much into the acquiring of knowledge, which is very important to live this life. Then in Grihast, as a householder, we have loads and loads of duties, loads of prescribed duties. So we take care of all that. And to fulfill all those, we do get into lots of rituals to get those boons. And then it dawns on us that we are not getting fulfilled. Each desire gets fulfilled and we feel more desirous. So this is like a bottomless pit. Whatever we do, we don't feel that fulfillment. Now to get that, that is how we keep on changing our activities and we move towards spirituality. This is the how to say, this is a very natural progression of life, or how we evolve through different stages of life and we move towards spirituality. And then that is vanprasth. And later on, some people continue with their worldly affairs with spirituality, and very few of them, they take sannyas. That is how our activities throughout life keeps on changing.
Yes. And in fact, again, as a reminder, a mnemonic or acronym to remember the 4 ashrams or the 4 stages of life, BGVS, Bhagavad Gita, is very sacred. So we have brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasa. Again, the 4 categories of occupations, we talked about that. And the takeaway also is, as Mummy said, it's a natural progression. So on our individual spiritual journeys, we aspire to have a greater dominance of sattva gun. So even if there is tamogun, ignorance, we try to channel and convert that into more of rajogun, which is the mode of passion. And that further, we would like to channel and convert it into sattva gun, the mode of goodness. So that is chapter 4, verse 13. And then finally, we covered chapter 4, verse 14. Again, a rhetorical question: is there a fruit that God doesn't desire? God certainly loves the offerings that we make to him, all kinds of literal fruits that I'm talking about here. But the fruit of God's own activities, he doesn't, nor does he need to desire those. So that is over here, chapter 4, verse 14, where Sri Krishna says that he is, of course, perfect, he's complete, he's eternal. He's the non-doer. We saw that in the previous verse. But here we also see that activities and then their results and rewards, they do not taint him. They do not tarnish him. There's no concept of he being bound by karmic reactions of his work and activities. Likewise, if we can understand this divine nature and work in a certain manner, as Mummy will explain to us shortly, then we can also get away from these karmic reactions. So, Mummy, what is that way to work?
Well, the way to work is, as Krishna taught us, Karma-yog. Karma-yog means we offer our work as worship to God and not worry about fruits of our actions. Just follow Krishna. Krishna is saying, I am the creator. I am Kartaram. I am the creator. I do everything for the welfare of this universe. So I don't get bound in karmic reactions. And I do everything for the welfare of this universe. So he is pure and he is complete with infinite bliss. So similarly, we have to learn to follow that we offer our work as worship to God. And I think this motto is very good. God for life. Instead of having God for life, we should have life for God. We should learn this so that we don't get bound in karmic reactions.
Indeed, a life full of seva and devotion, bhakti towards God. Just to wrap up, we see here in this shloka from the Srimad Bhagavatam, talking about God, of course, being able to, he's transcendental beyond all this material, these aspects, but obviously he's not bound by karmic reactions. Even saints who are pure are not bound by karmic reactions. And then devotees of the Lord who operate in the way Mummy explained through KarmaYog are also not bound by these karmic reactions. So again, something for each of us to try and aspire towards. That's the takeaway for the 3 verses we covered today. Just in terms of a quick preview, we mentioned as well that we'll meet at our regular time next Sunday, which is December 5th, 2021. And quite possibly, wait for a formal announcement, but quite possibly December 12th, 2021, we'll let you know if class is happening or not. That weekend is the weekend of a very big event. Mummy, you want to briefly talk about that?
Well, we are going to have Bhagavad Gita Summit, that is on Gita Jayanti Day, and it's going to happen for 5 days. There are going to be very important lectures and discourses by top luminaries in this field. And on the 5th day, that is on 14th December, Tuesday, we'll have a full Parayan of 700 verses. So we are still in the planning stage, how we are going to do it, but we would want everybody to attend, as it is going to be a virtual event, as well as some part of it will be at the Radha Krishna temple. So wait for further announcement, and we would like everybody to attend. And in that time, when we have our class on that Sunday, there could be a very important lecture. So we would decide whether we are going to have our class or not. We will let you know. And at the end, there is going to be keynote address by Swamiji also. So it's a very, very important event, as we are all trying to learn wisdom through Bhagavad Gita.
Absolutely. Thanks for that preview, Mummy. And once again, we look forward to meeting everybody next Sunday, December 5th, 2021, same time. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.